think this is good. Yeah, that was everything that you can also expect from Astrea versus Serral, guys. Give a warning next time. Yeah, it was really on purpose, mate. That's exactly what I did on purpose. Shout out to Trends for gifting a tier 3 sub to QBA AVS. Is there a story there? Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Tier 3 even. Nice setup. I think there was no better way. Like, see, it could have been a countdown timer. It could have been 8 minutes of like, guys, Serral Astrea starting soon. Instead, you guys got that. Hashtag worth it. I am not listed online on Team Liquid, which is weird. Because I should be. Because we are most certainly online. There is a prediction that is open, Logic. Guys, if you ever wonder if there is a prediction, there always is. I always run predictions. If you don't see it, you press F5 and you'll see it. And if it's still not there after you press F5, that means it's already closed. And random request, can we get some Gabe impersonations throughout the match? Not really, because I don't think... I mean, we'll see one Terran, we'll see Cure, but I think we'll save that for a moment where Gabe is doing well. Gabe is not even a part of this tournament, so I think it'd be very weird to go full Gabe. Hello, StarCraft historian. I'm glad you're excited, mate. Yesterday was good, guys. I think yesterday was an excellent warm-up day. Max Angel is happy. It is back-to-back. Yesterday I got the time zone wrong. What is it? Is it 4 a.m.? 5 a.m., right? No. It's 4 a.m. in America. In LA. Yes. 4 a.m. The video gaming for Max Angel as he rubs his eyes. Because 4 a.m. is a bit of an unholy hour. It's 7 a.m. in New York, indeed. 4 a.m. on the West Coast. But who cares? Max Angel should advance. This group should almost be done. Obviously, crazy things have happened. But it would be incredibly weird to not see these two advance. If Astrea wins a single map here, I think he is 100% true. But that actually might not be totally true, because then it would still be 2-1, 0, and then okay. Nothing is 100%. After this second series, there is a good chance that it's all over already. But we'll see about that. Yeah, surprised these two have only met 5 times ever. I mean, we all know that Serral is not too big on playing online tournaments, and I think even Astrea had periods where he wasn't mega active in the tiny tourneys. From time to time these days he plays in them. In the past he did not always play in them. And of course then they're from different regions, which makes sense that they don't play against each other all the time. Let's get it on. Abyssal Reef for day 2 of Masters Coliseum 8. Bottom right side, we're looking at the main base of the man who had a monstrous day yesterday. He beat Cure and he beat Shin. And he should advance. It's Astrea. Top left side, the one and only. We saw him in 2 games. Wasn't like mega easy, but I also don't think it was hard. As the great Iona Sotala got a 2-0 victory over Cure yesterday on his journey of defending his title of the Masters Coliseum. Because he did win Masters Coliseum 7 basically a year ago, little less. It wrapped up somewhere in January last year, like the 10th or 15th of January, whatever it was. Back then, Serral defeated Hero in the grand finals after Hero defeated Reynor in the 3rd place. Well, in the lower bracket final, not the 3rd place match. How will Astrea wall? Right now it doesn't look like much of a wall yet, but I think we'll get there eventually. At the moment it's not much of a wall yet, but I am certain that he'll get there. Abyssal is very big, so it's really not the map, I think, to make a whole bunch of Zerglings early on and try to get lucky. I was thinking if I should still do the 4 option prediction. I think in general people prefer just the 2 options. So I can just set the betting lines, where it's like Serral 2-0, Astrea to win a map. Because I have the feeling that people like 50-50 more than having 4 options. It's not really Clem's style, Marvelous Times. It's just Clem's execution. Because Clem's style is not necessarily unique. It's not that Clem does a whole lot different than other Terrans. He just does it better. Clem is just mega fast. And I think that is difficult for anyone to deal with. Even Serral. Even the GOAT. French kid is just incredibly quick. It's not that he's like throwing out a random build every second series, right? And he's catching Serral off guard or he's blind countering Serral. It's straight up, it's execution, it's speed, it's precision. Clem is just amazing. Fun opening here coming out of Astrea. Wow, okay, really fun opening coming out of Astrea. Adapt into Stalker, into Blink. So Astrea is like, you know what? That Serral guy is pretty hard to beat. And sure, I can make a couple adapts and I can make a couple oracles and play a very normal game and take it from there like I did against Shin. Or I can try to surprise him with either a 2-base or a 3-base Blink all-in. It can also be Blink Pressure. But I don't think this is going to be Blink Pressure. I think this is going to be pretty damn committed. Do you think Clem's skill mechanic-wise eclipses Inno, MVP, Maru speaks? Yes, to me that's not even close. But there's always elites who get very fired up and like, no, that's not true, the Caspar days. But it's not even close, mate. Clem is in a league of his own. But of course, what also is very important to mention is that the game needs to allow it. Because even if people in 2010, 2011, 2012 would have liked to play like that, the game didn't really allow it. Because sometimes the best play to make in the early days of StarCraft was to do nothing. Defender's advantage was massive. You would just kind of sit there, don't throw away any units because every unit counts. So it's not, even if they wanted to play like Clem, they couldn't. But I don't think anybody could have played like Clem. There's an image quality. No, this is the quality of this entire tournament. It will not get better than that unless they somehow let us join the games. This is a big scout, by the way, guys, by Serral. But Serral is going for Banelings. I wonder if Banelings is necessarily great against Stalkers. Normally we'd say no. But the fact that Serral just scouted this proxy gate already is big. I'm certain that Serral was expecting Resonating Glaive for the longest time. I don't think that Dark really beats Clem. I think beating Clem online is not the same as beating him offline. Because playing Terran cross-server is gonna make Clem a little bit worse. Reynor is just really quick too. And that's what sets Reynor apart. I think he cancelled the Baning Nest, yeah. Or he lets it finish and he's not going to use it. But Serral is already all over Astrea, guys. It's just a really good scout. And even if Serral wasn't 100% certain at first what he was playing against, after he realized, wait a minute, there is no Stargate, there are no Oracles. Look at them Zerglings go. Sweet baby Jesus. This does look like my ladder game, right? Astrea should have had some cannons, guys. This is a disaster for Astrea and he knows it. Stalkers are very expensive units. You don't want to be losing them. He is very committed to this 2-base all-in. Oh, yeah. 2-base all-ins were a thing for a long time in StarCraft 2 in the early days, but they're not that good these days. The way that the economies scale, the way it's more doable to crank out a lot of units quickly if you know that it's happening. Now, of course, you still need to scout it, but leave it up to the great Jonas Sutana to scout it. And sure, he may be down 5 workers, but don't get fooled by those numbers. Serral's in an absolutely amazing position here. Serral's going to send a couple Zerglings to the other side of the map. He's going to see that Astrea has even invested in the full wall off. So if he wasn't committed yet, he is Omega committed now. But of course, he always was committed. I'd love to hype this up, guys, but I do not believe in 2-base Stalker aggression against a Serral that's got Lair Tech on the way. Serral's so full of confidence, guys, that he's even cranking out some extra workers. Does he need to do this? I don't think so. Can he do it? Yeah. He absolutely can. A lot of these Stalkers are low on HP. And game 1 is going to go Serral's way. Off the back of just a great scout early on. Spotting that gateway, realizing that something aggressive was heading his way. Has been losing a lot of Zerglings here, but that would only ever be an issue if he has been missing injects. And Serral doesn't miss injects. Serral doesn't miss anything. GG gets called. Astrea knows that there is no way to save this game. There's no way to make something out of it. And he's forced to wave the white flag. Do you have any thoughts on pick 8 worker start idea? I haven't seen any of the games, but no. I'm okay with the 12 worker start. I do agree that there is going to be more variety in the early game build orders, where it's like, oh, do you want to get a pylon at 7, 8, 9, 10 supply, and you can do some crazier cheeses, but does that really make the game a whole lot better or more enjoyable? In my eyes, the answer is no. It's the same as I feel about like the SC Evo mod and stuff. It's like, yeah, you can do a lot of spin-offs of StarCraft that are all kind of fun, but I think in the end, I'm okay with the real version. I also don't believe that it's really going to help casuals. It's not about the diehard fans, because diehard fans are already excited over StarCraft 2. But if you're trying to appeal to a new audience, having even slower starts, in my eyes, is not going to work. I know some people will disagree, and that's fine. Those are just opinions, but that's what I said yesterday, young All-Star. There's a lot of different versions of StarCraft right now that people enjoy, and that's awesome. But I don't think any of them is going to be the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, wow, now all the Fortnite players will enjoy StarCraft. And slowing things down is, I don't think, what you need. Maybe for people to have slightly more fun playing, but it's not going to change anything like viewing number wise and stuff. It happens every day, Dr. Jit. I believe that they were announcing 2 games today. One of them is Mobile Legends. I don't know what the other one is. Leylines is our second map in the bottom left side. It is the great Jonas Setala. He's 3-0 so far in this tournament. BASILISK Serral. And in the top right side, this poor man had to be here at 4 AM to play a best of 3 against the Finnish phenom. It is Max Angel, Astrea. Both are Mobile Legends Bang Bang. I thought Mobile Legends is a unique game. I'm not saying, guys, I'm not, just because I say that, I'm not bashing the 8 workers start. I'm not bashing anybody trying to organize anything in StarCraft 2. I think if people love playing in it, awesome. If Pig loves running it, awesome. If you guys enjoyed watching it, awesome. If you guys love SC2 Evo, awesome. I just don't think any of that will take over. That's all I said. I am not saying anything else. And I don't think that that's something that I personally would get excited over. But if you guys get excited over it, that's awesome. I'm not knocking it. I think any creative idea, anything that you're trying to run is obviously always appreciated. Trying to run different things rather than the usual, always appreciated. It's just not really for me. I have lived through 6 years of a 6 worker start. And I'm personally happy with the way that the game currently is. I'm not happy with my experience on Battle.net, but that's a different story. But I'm happy with the actual game. I don't see it happening, Stormgut, but that is obviously a concern that some people have. I think as long as you can keep people on Battle.net, if you can keep people booting up StarCraft, I think in general that's fine. I don't think it would be a bad thing if people love playing with 8 workers, 10 workers, 6 workers, 4 workers. I've heard it all. I think as long as they're playing StarCraft in general, that's a positive. It's a net positive. To go back to the quality comment earlier, so for the people who don't really understand how these things work, there are a lot of casters for this tournament. Like, nobody gets hired to cast it. Basically, anybody that applies can stream these games to their audience. But we're not allowed to join the game. So we're not on Battle.net, we're not in the lobby. All we get is a stream that we can then boot up and talk over. Like a YouTuber. A reaction streamer. That's what I am. That's what I get accused of when I play Deadlock. They say I have no impact in the game, I get carried by my teammates, I'm a reaction streamer. That's basically my coverage of this tournament. I open a stream, I watch it with you guys, and I react to it. This has been my dream, guys. I always thought I could make it like this. There are 2 tournaments announced for 2025. There will be another Bellum's Gem Elite in Bulgaria, probably in Stara Zagora once more. It's a pretty damn cool city, in my opinion. I like it. I would be excited to go back. And there is another Home Story Cup announced. Home Story Cup 27 on the 27th of June. It's never been easier to remember a tournament date. So. 2 tournaments announced. And technically this tournament, Masters Coliseum, also leads into 2025. So you can make that 3 if you count the online tournament. But I'm sure there will be more. They are in premiere. In my eyes, they are. I think sometimes we also have to realize that we're not living in the absolute glory days of either just esports or StarCraft 2 esports anymore. You might think that anything where the players don't win a 150k is not premiere, but times change. Katowice has not been confirmed. And we're getting pretty close to Katowice, so I don't really expect Katowice to happen. But I really hope I'm wrong in that regard. Astrea's unhappy with something. I don't know what he's unhappy with. Maybe just the fact that he's sleepy. Oracle's got 3 drones so far, or maybe slightly more. Yeah, I loved Bulgaria. I would definitely go back. They did announce that they were stopping the weekly cups, Young All-Star. Because it was, I mean, I've explained this a million times. It was a 3-year deal, a 1-year deal, and then a 1-year deal. And the moment that the 5th 1-year deal ended, they said, maybe we'll be back. You'll hear from us. And up to this point, there has been no official statement made. So they've still never said if they're never coming back. But they also haven't said that they're coming back. Esports as a whole is declining. I don't know about that. I don't think that's a statement that I could realistically make. But I do think there was a bit of a bubble, right? Where it's like everything bigger, better, more money. And then at one point it's like, wait a minute, this is not sustainable. Like some of the salaries for different games like League and Counter-Strike were outrageous. Like very, very, very high. And I think, you know, that's how it always goes with new industries. Everybody gets excited, they take a step back, they take a step forward, they take a step back. I also heard that LCS is removing their official broadcast. Now, maybe they have corrected this by now, but I believe that basically they're getting rid of the official broadcast altogether, and they just let like people like me, for instance, stream it from home, community streamers, and then you can watch whatever you want. But that's obviously, like, that is technically a step back, right? Because you're moving away from the professional production, you're moving away from paying people to work in your studio, you're moving away from the studio event, I guess, altogether. And you just let people online stream it. LPL, Chinese League English broadcast. Yeah, I obviously I'm not a league viewer, so I don't know the details, but I did read about it. I saw Colaris respond to it. To me, that's also a sign that they wanna maybe not necessarily save money, but obviously that does save money. Perhaps just dial it back a tiny notch. Anyway, we haven't spoken about this game at all because Astrea has honestly just kind of played somewhat passive, flew around with some oracles, zapped down a couple workers, and that was about it. He is going up to 4 bases. He's got Zealot Charge on the way. He's got Storm on the way. Serral's Hive is so ridiculously quick. I know we talk about 6 worker starts and 8 worker starts, but if you would have told me a long time ago that 8-minute hives would be normal, I would have been like, no. You can't make an 8-minute hive. If you get attacked, you die. You have no units. But then you look at Serral, and he always has units, and he always has vision. And obviously, Serral lays out the blueprint. Other Zergs follow. So tech comes online so freaking quick these days. I cannot see units lost, I'm Trendle. I am not in the game. I have no power over this broadcast at all. High Templars on creep always scare me a little. I find it terrifying. This is great though by Astrea, having a whole bunch of Zealots getting a full wraparound on the hatchery in the top left side. The Observer did not show us whether or not Serral cancelled the hatch or if it got killed. So we're just taking a look at this fight. I guess the WTL Observer is afraid that he's gonna miss 10 High Templars being surrounded by Zerglings. I understand. Serral agree with the new 15 Overlord meta? I have no idea. You guys can probably ask him. One of these days we'll get him on stream. We'll have a little interview and you guys can ask all your little meta questions if you want. I'm pretty certain that if I would DM Serral and be like, hey Serral, how do you feel about the 15 Overlord meta? That he'd instantly block me. You are the last person on Earth I want to discuss this with. Alright, fair enough, Yona. He knows I'm a Protoss player. What's in it for you? Not a whole lot. You guys saw it at Home Story Cup. I'm like, Serral, can you hear us? And he said, unfortunately, yes. I mean, come on. How do you think he would react if I asked him about a 15 Overlord meta? Perma blocked immediately. I don't want the smoke, guys. I like having him as my friend. Lurker's getting a few shots off from the high ground, keeping Astrea's army at bay. 2 more Stargates with +1 air weapons on the way. I think Fleet Beacon already finished up, right? So Astrea could build carriers, but it's more likely he's gonna make Tempest. I have the feeling that nobody really believes in the carrier anymore. All the noise that people make in general, right, about the Disruptor, I kind of feel like we need to make some noise about the carrier. The carrier was so much better. Where's Graviton Catapult? Can we get that back? Because Vikings got buffed, the Zerg gets better and better answers. Where is Graviton Catapult? Tempest are just better, but Tempest suck. Who likes Tempest? The only time I ever liked Tempest is when I saw they were announced for the first time. I was like, oh my god, that's such a cool unit. All these Lurkers, by the way, very clumped up. You don't often see Zealot High Templar deal with 5 Lurkers, but Astrea says, look at me now. Tempest, I think in this version of StarCraft, in the hands of really good players, I do think that Tempests are a better option than carriers. But that makes me sad. Carriers are supposed to be the ultimate badass Protoss unit. And this is the one thing that I did say about this patch after watching like the first 30-40 games on it, that I really hope not every game turns into Storm, Battery, Cannon, Tempest. But that's not my favorite version of StarCraft. What I love to see is just like Immortals, Zealots, Stalkers, Archons, battling, Roaches, Ravages, Hydras, Lurkers. Blade of Splash damage here and there is obviously awesome. Like, Tempest and Storm and static defenses. I know it can be very powerful, but I don't know. That's not my favorite version of this RTS. Now, Astrea is in a pretty good spot. I would absolutely agree with that. Don't think a whole lot has gone wrong for him yet, right? Any Protoss that gets up to 6-7 bases, has money in the bank, 83 workers, has a bunch of storms to work with, triple Stargate online, pumping out Tempest, in a pretty damn good position. I don't know what this is. 3 High Templars very exposed. Somehow really big storms. So many Zerglings going down, and 1 High Templar is even trying to make it out of it. Does not live to tell the tale, but at least he got a lot of Zerglings. Still not a great trade, obviously, losing that much gas for a couple links. My contact lens moved, and now I can see. Now it fell out of my eye. I strongly disagree with that, Mr. Cypress, whatever your name is. Weird name. But that's okay. It's almost like we are allowed to have different opinions. You can look at Tempest and be like, I think Tempests are very interesting. I can look at Tempest and say that I think they're lame. I've never liked them and I don't think I ever will. Even if I was the creator of the one-base Tempest all-in. And the Koreans copied my build and brought it to the GSL. I still think Tempests are lame. This is not fun. But hey, we're all allowed to like different things, guys. That is not a competition. You're allowed to like different things. I'm allowed to like different things. It's all okay. Sorry guys, my eye is killing me. Because my contact lens fell out. I should have cleaned it, I think, and no I didn't. So now I'm in pain. But I'm sure that you guys can also see what is happening over here. It's just a bit of a turtle fest. They have absolutely monstrous banks. The gas bank is maybe not as large yet as it could be. When it comes to the mineral department, almost 6,000 minerals for Astrea, almost 5k for Serral. Couple Nidus networks going up. And it's not like they're not doing anything. It's just that we know that any of these interactions, any of these engagements are not game ending because of the amount of money and bases they're working with. The mothership gets found in the middle of nowhere and dies to a couple of corruptors. Minus 400, it's back! I do think for Astrea, it is important to take advantage of the windows where you've got better upgrades. He's got +2 air weapons right now. I'm honestly kind of sad that he went for armor instead of +3 air weapons. Because I think you just want to be very aggressive. You want to start one-shotting a lot of units. You want to keep Serral poor. You want to continue to be in his face. Because if Serral ever gets a low drone count, 3-3 Corruptor, Viper, Infestor, I don't think you're going to beat him. These are excellent fights for Astrea, by the way. Monstrous storms. And he saves a lot of his units. Our composition that was really good. Yeah, Serral is in a bit of trouble, guys. And I know that's not something we say very often. But the great Jonas Sutala is in a bit of trouble here in Game 2 on ley lines. Astrea has just played a really good game. Serral has taken a very passive approach. Kind of just try to get to his happy place in the late game, but he's not quite there yet. Meanwhile, Astrea is pretty happy with the place that he's in, and he continues to find better and better fights. He had a mothership, but it died, Mixer. It died to a couple of corruptors in the top side of the map. Astrea is gonna get on top of this 6 o'clock base of Serral, and things are honestly going from bad to worse for Yona. Astrea did not rebuild the mothership. I know a lot of Zergs hate the mothership these days. Can no longer abduct it. Crazy. No cancel on the hatchery either. And guys, we're playing these games on US Central, which should definitely be a little bit better for Astrea than Serral. But I think in this matchup, is it impactful? Sure, to some degree, but it's not like TVZ where it's very important. Oh my gosh. Might be going from worse to worse, as a wise man once said. This is actually such a good Tempest map as well. If you just take a look at how the ley lines plays out, it might not be that easy for Protoss to get up to 4 bases and be in a great spot. But once you're there, and once you get these Tempests out, it seems very difficult for Serral to take great fights. Does land a Fungal on a couple of High Templars, but look at these Archons. There's no way these Corruptors can stand above these Archons. The Broodlords are trying to do their thing, but last time I checked, the Zergs are still not very happy with the Broodlords. Serral is down to 70 drones, which does mean that he can have 130 army supply. And you look at the production tab, guys, and you can see that these Corruptor upgrades are getting better. And that is the one thing that maybe can be the saving grace of Serral. I haven't really seen a whole lot of Viper action either. Astrea has played incredibly well. And certainly has also traded very cost efficiently this game. It's got like 5 hatcheries at this point. It's a lot of cannons. It's a few too many cannons for my taste, guys. As I said before, it's not my favorite StarCraft. But hey, if there's money on the line and this is the best way to play, and then I will obviously never knock somebody for playing like this. And if any of us could do it, we do it too. It's Serral, yeah, I guess the unit's lost resource tab is on the bottom right side of the map from time to time. And apparently Serral has lost 12,000 resources more than Astrea. 12,000. I don't know if having a bunch of Vipers is the play, but having 0 never really seems like the play for me. Of course, there will always be vision with the Oracles. They can drop Revelation. The Tempest can one-shot Vipers as soon as they get in range, but you need to try something. I'm certain that even at this point, Serral is starting to feel a tiny bit desperate as well. Because what do? He does land a little fungo on a couple of the High Templars, and he kills them with the Broodlings, so that's nice. Astrea is so rich, guys, that he can casually lose 20 High Templars and he'd still be fine. But the longer this goes on, the more I will start believing in Serral. That Serral can turn it into something. Lower drone count, bigger army. Corruptors will skill very well if you can get a crazy amount of them. And then there might be a moment where we get a few more Vipers infested. I think most Zergs will tell you that anything is bad here. Serral clearly prefers the Infestor. What I personally love about Vipers is that even if you don't get Abduct stuff, but if you can spam some Para Bombs, getting a whole bunch of Tempests to take some real damage rather than just shield damage will eventually set up for a much better fight. Because that's obviously HP that never regenerates back. And Protoss players in general don't kill their own units as long as they're alive. So just by having a few Para Bombs from time to time, let the damage stack up over time, can eventually set you up to take a really good fight. But it is expensive, and this could indeed be considered hell for the Zerg. I wonder when Astrea starts getting rid of... Hey, he has never taken the Rich Vespian gas? Missed opportunity, you should take it. I wonder if it's already time, guys, for Astrea to get rid of some of his workers. And when I say I wonder, I definitely say that the answer is yes, he should. The bigger his army supply is, the more likely it is he continues to take good trades. Like staying at 80 probes when you've got all the infrastructure in the world, when you've got all the upgrades you can basically dream of. You've got 16k minerals and 6k gas. Like, this is not an 80 probe game right now. I do agree with that statement by Jeremy. I think a lot of Zergs would have eventually just grabbed their army and send it in. Take a fight against these Tempests, Archons, get stormed into oblivion, and get ready for the next game. We do land a couple of fungals on the Immortals, on the High Templars, and the the Corruptors take a lot of damage, but none of them die. Astrea did lose 18 probes there, but I genuinely believe that's a good thing for him, guys. No, he doesn't need that anymore, M-Dupes. Like, he's not gonna get any of those bases in the bottom right side, and... Like, you don't need 80 workers right now to saturate the mineral lines and bases that you still have. He absolutely does not need 80. Earlier, obviously, it's totally fine, but 22 minutes in with 5 Stargates, 3 upgrades, and 15k, 6k, you do not need 80 workers. I think it's legitimately a good thing for Australia that he lost 18 workers there. Serral's corruptor count is getting crazy high though, and I mentioned those upgrades a while ago, where it's almost impossible to take good fights if the corruptors are down 2 sets of upgrades or even 3 sets of upgrades. I do think it becomes a lot more likely that Serral will find much better fights the moment he's got 3-3 on those corruptors. And he only has +2 flyer attacks, but +3 carapace is about to finish up. Storm's still scary, Archons and splash damage is still scary, but it will make Serral's army a whole lot more capable of dealing with Astrea's army. Revelation gets dropped on the static defenses of Serral on the top left. Tempests are getting their shots off. Little stay scrappy. We've got Zealots getting on top of another hatchery in the center of the map. Will Serral cancel this? Nope. No cancel once more. I think that's the 3rd or 4th hatchery that went down that could have technically been cancelled. He added in like 7 additional gateways a while ago. I think the gateway count is pretty damn healthy. Probably looking at like 14, 16, something among those lines. So you can obviously switch back and forth. Oh, the infestors of Serral! All of the infestors are exposed. Serral is not going to be happy with that. Seems like he will be able to actually get a couple of them out of there. That's could have gone a whole lot worse. Ended up losing 3, I believe. Mothership Rico into the bottom side of the map. That is a great way to move around that big old Protoss army very quickly. So he gets on top of another hatch. I mean, I know a lot of stats, guys, but I don't know how many hatcheries Astrea has killed in his life of Serral. But I'm almost willing to say that I think he killed more hatches this game than he's done in all the other games combined. Think we'll see game 3? It is definitely looking like it, but I also think it'd be very silly to count Serral out, because Serral is about to get 3-3 on his Corruptus, and I do really believe in 3-3 Corruptus. Even if Storm and Archon obviously will still be good against clumped up Corruptus, but Serral will probably not let those units get clumped up. Serral is just so incredibly patient that this game could easily go on for another 20-25 minutes, where it becomes borderline impossible for Astrea to get him out of here. If the drone count goes lower and lower, but we'll see. As these Archon hit, the storms on the Corruptus is painful. And obviously there is regeneration, but it's not that quick. And Serral will not sink this out with 198 supply. And money in the bank, Serral just had enough of it. Serral says this is not doable, even for me. This is too much pain. And it's Astrea who ties things up. 198 supply, Serral. Yeah, well, we technically had a final fight, but then Serral disengaged. A lot of his units were very low on HP. And even if the supply was still there, the HP was not there. And I guess in his mind, he's gonna be forced to fight that army, then he's gonna lose everything. I do agree, it's a tiny bit anticlimactic, but hey, it's a tournament. Money's on the line, and if for Serral that is too painful to continue, then it's obviously his right. If Astrea wins, I get the jackpot. This clinches Astrea to move on now. So I was thinking about that, Prof. Noggy, but I don't know if that's true. Because let's say Serral beats... Who did Serral beat? Cure. Let's say Ragnarok, Shin, beats Cure 2-0. And he beats Serral 2-1. And Astrea loses 0-2. No, wait. Then Astrea, actually, you're right. Astrea would always advance. Astrea already has 2 wins, 1 loss. Isn't there somebody else that can get 2 wins and 1 loss? No. Oh, he's 100% guaranteed? Yeah, because I guess 3 people cannot get... Well, they could get 2 wins, 1 loss. I mean, we did have a 2-0 victory. I don't know. Why do I fail in this? Why do I fail in this? Let me just open Wikipedia quick. Because I feel like there should be a world where they still all end up with the same score, but apparently that world doesn't exist. Wikipedia is very rarely wrong. Alright, let's say Serral wins 2-1. Then Astrea ends +2. Shin could go 2-0, 2-0. But then I guess Serral would have 1 map win less, right? Unless he wins the last one 2-0. That's not possible. Yeah, no, I guess Astrea would always finish either above Serral or Shin, and Cure has already lost twice, so Cure is not an option. The best thing that Shin can do is +2, but for Shin to get +2, Serral would end up at +2, and Astrea is at +3 right now, and he'll stay at +3 even if he loses the final game. So yeah, I guess he will always have 1 map enough. I did F5. But for some reason it's not updated. Someone is sleeping on the job! No. Some of you guys have been harassing me to do Dark Team. I've used it for a couple days now, but I think I prefer White Man. Wikipedia is one of these very few websites where I don't think Dark is needed. It's updated for us, alright, it wasn't for me. Anyway, I believe you guys. It seems like it is indeed confirmed that this man in the bottom left side, who is currently teamless, has advanced into the playoffs of Masters Coliseum. America, baby. Protoss is back on the menu. America is back on the menu. It's Astrea. Top right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who can only take so much. He hung in there for a long time. I don't think it was a very enjoyable game for the Zerg. And he still gave it his best, but eventually left. Even though he had 198 supply and a tiny bit of money in the bank. It is Basilisk Serral. Dark Team is definitely better on a lot of websites, but on Wikipedia, I just like white. Is this Nexus first into Doublegate coming out of Astrea? That's kind of cool. Nexus first into 2 gates. I'm a big Nexus first enjoyer, but whenever I go Nexus first, I do not go double gateway. I wonder what Serral thinks about Nexus first. Do you guys think that he would consider this to be very greedy? I don't use it for YouTube either. YouTube is also better when it's just white. Discord and Twitter, I do think that like darker teams are very nice. I don't even know if there's a light team for Discord anymore. I've been using it dark so long. But Wikipedia and YouTube are completely fine. Next is first into double gate, into double chrono. So we're gonna chrono boost 2 adepts to the other side of the map immediately. Apparently one goes free at the bottom, the other one goes through the top, but he will still miss the Zerglings. It's actually very annoying. Is the probe there in time? Yes, but it also means the probe is gonna fall. Or maybe not. Maybe the adepts can turn around. Wait, he killed his own probe! Why? All that effort! All that effort to kill his own probe! 100% guys, the adept is guilty. You can see the look on his face as well. He's like, F. That's the one thing that I tried to save and I killed it myself. I think ultras are good against carriers, but I don't know if ultras are that hot against a million cannons, Tempest and Archons. It's a tough sell. Maybe the tiny ultra would have been, guys, but the big ultra, not really. What the hell is this build, man? Now we've got 2 more gates on the way, so basically we're 4 gating, but we're also going up to 3 bases. Nexus first into double gate, into double chrono, adept, into 2 more gateways and a 3rd base with 1 gate proxy. Well, this is certainly something. It's close to how I used to play in Heart of the Swarm, but I wouldn't take a 3rd. There's 2 base, 7 gate all in after Nexus first. With a +1 from my forge, by the way. Serral has not seen it, so where Serral did spot the proxy gate on the Abyssal Reef very quickly to give himself the information that the Blink Stalker attack was coming, he has not seen this proxy gate yet. Now these adepts may not have resonating glaives, but it's still a decent amount of adepts. He didn't forget glaive because he doesn't have a Twilight Council. So I highly doubt, and obviously it's a very different build if you do it with glaives. I think the idea is just to hit as a big surprise. Well, Serral's got the J Money Magic Wall off, guys. Serral did this for a long time. Also with the little Spore Crawler. Brought it out in Katowice back then when the Adept Printer was real. And Zest was speaking. Unfortunately, Zest peaked so hard that he made it into the final. But I think he is macroing Cure Misago. But yeah, obviously the quick third is like, hey, really nothing to worry about. And then there is a proxy gate and you kind of try to get lucky with an attack that's somewhere in between. It's not like it didn't cost you anything, but it's also not very committed. But if your opponent didn't think he was going to be attacked at all, there is a chance that your random adepts deal a lot of damage. Serral is called the Helmet Zerg for a reason, so he's pretty safe. And he's not going to take too much damage here. I guess Astrea did slow him down, right? Did obviously force a lot of the drones to morph into buildings, force a lot of units. Follow-up is going to be Blink Stalkers coming out of the man who's just honestly already having a very memorable group stage performance. Beating Cure, beating Shin. Now I keep calling him Ragnarok. If you call him Ragnarok once, you keep calling him Ragnarok. I'm molding. Beating Cure, beating Shin, and taking a map of Serral is I think that's something we'll remember for quite some time. It is very, very impressive, and Astrea's not done yet. I'm not hating how this game is going either, to be honest. I'm not saying that he's just gonna show up here, blink a couple stalkers back, and Serral's dead, but I'm starting to get a tiny bit concerned for Astrea over here. The Zerglings are going to get picked off as Astrea is getting in range of that hatchery. Drops a couple nice force fields. That's going to allow him to pick up quite a few of these Zerglings. The Zerglings derping around a little bit there for Serral. Only in a single corrosive ball did take care of the force field. And Blink is done. It's actually very annoying, I think, for Serral to fight. The only thing that Serral can really do is buy time. Eventually, if the unit count is high enough, you can maybe go for a wraparound. But at this point, it's just kind of dancing in and out of range. Like an MMA fighter. Or a good boxer. Sandstorm says Serral will win this. I mean, it does have 7-minute 30-second hive on the way. Despite all the things that Astrea has done so far, it's still a 7-minute 30-second hive. I'll be honest, mate, I kind of like this game for Astrea. As long as he doesn't mess up in a big way with the stalkers. If he starts pushing the creep back, I think Astrea's in a pretty alright spot. No spoilers. I haven't seen the Colby fight yet. I probably didn't miss anything, right? Was it good? You can tell me if it was good or not, but I haven't seen any MMA. I went to bed early yesterday. Because I was mentally all day long leading up to the fact that I had to go to a birthday party in the evening. And then when it was time to go, I realized that it wasn't yesterday night, but it's tonight. So, my entire evening was just kind of ruined. And then I didn't feel like doing anything, and I just went to bed somewhat early. Well, I watched football. Didn't miss much. Was an okay fight. Okay, sounds alright. I'll watch it back after I'm done streaming today. Okay, sounds good. Hatchery is low on HP. Stalkers will get their final 2 volleys off, and that means Serral is going to be forced to give up this base. He's obviously retaking the base in the center. He's got Reynor Glens on the way. I love double robo here, by the way. I love it so much. Serral is going to fire up some Vipers immediately. That's obviously always the beauty of having a quick hive. Last game, the man did not believe in Vipers at all against all those Archons, High Templars, and Tempest. And of course, Oracles for Revelation. But against the quick double robo, Serral is a believer. I will check it out, young Ulster. Another hatchery gets cancelled. Couple Banelings finishing up for Serral. I think Banelings can come in very handy in dealing with like Zealot run-bys. Maybe even in the main army. Like we have seen Banelings sneak through the cracks. And even if Banelings may not seem very good against Stalkers and Colossus, they shouldn't be. But if you get enough of them, and they can actually get where they need to be, it's not that bad. You need to be rich, but this looks awesome for Astrea. Well, it will all come down to him getting a couple High Templars and landing feedbacks. Because the moment that right now his Colossus and Immortals get abducted, it doesn't look very awesome. War Prism needs to be very cautious, by the way. Here come these Vipers. Stalkers are going to try to pick the Vipers off, but one Colossus is going to get picked. And the rest of the army, I think, just needs to run. Serral's even chasing with the drones right now. I do not like this chase by Serral. I'm very, very, very surprised that Serral is enjoying this chase. The Zerglings are just getting absolutely melted. I think there were still Zealots active on the other side of the map. I did not expect that, guys. And these drones were in the mix as well. They were hunting down that Colossus Stalker army. That, I mean, Amygdala is a bit of a weird map, right? With that gold base in the center, but well, that looks pretty good for Astrea. Got Storm on the way. He's got his first Archons coming online. And Serral was pretty broke. 65 drones. I kind of feel the moment that he abducted the first Colossus, could have just gone back. But the chase gave Serral absolutely nothing. So obviously hoping to maybe get a wraparound around the Stalkers or catch the Colossus. The Vipers didn't go with the army. Turns out the drones did not make the difference either. I'm worried for Serral now, guys, because fighting in range of cannons and batteries is not going to do a whole lot. Storm is seconds away from finishing up. Can the Banelings connect with High Templars? Well, a tiny bit, but now feedbacks will land, and I don't believe that these Roaches and Ravagers can get on top of the Colossus and Immortals. Serral does get 9 probes, so that's something. And Astrea is obviously nowhere near as rich as the previous game, but can say that was cheap for Serral. Is Protoss officially back on the menu, guys? Will Serral lose for the first time in almost a year to somebody that is not named Clem? Because it literally has only been that Liquid Clone kit and has been getting the best of Serral in forever. Maru got the best of him in Masters Coliseum 7. A little less than exactly a year ago. That was in the group stage. Serral still won the entire tournament. After that, Serral won everything. Besides versus the French kid a couple of times. Banelings connect with Stalkers, not with the High Templars. Astrea's down in supply, needs to be a tiny bit careful. But the storms are so freaking large. He is full of confidence. Serral is not rich. Oh, okay. This is big. This reminds me of Serral against Mana. That's how that comeback on Lost and Found started back then. Zerglings sneak into the natural, sneak into the main base. Astrea is in such a good spot. If he does not take crazy damage, he shows the main army fight, please. 2 Archons, 3 cannons and a battery. Not enough against all these roaches. Serral with 61 drones, guys. Can he do things that just Serral does to keep his crazy win streak alive against basically everybody? Oh my god, look at the damage now of them Zerglings getting 19 probes. Roaches sneaking into the natural as well. Yona is such an animal. He's not there yet. He's not there yet, but the fact that this is now more than a game again is pretty insane. That was actually, that was mega by Serral. Absolutely mega, but also mandatory. Astrea has kind of kept it together though, but now this is obviously a very chaotic game, right? Kind of feels like the doors are wide open everywhere. Maybe a couple big storms. Can High Templars connect? Feedback storm, and that is kind of it. That does mean that these High Templars died rather quickly. Still a lot of Immortals there, by the way, guys. Serral believes that this is the fight to take. He thinks he can get all those Immortals, and he does get a couple of them very quickly. He gets the Colossus, or he gets the High Templars, one of them. But the extra Zealots from the bottom, I think, made the difference there for Astrea. And guys, Serral is not rich. Serral's on 58 drones. The Stalkers have been apparently harassing that goal. What a game. This is so much more fun. Like, anybody's gonna tell me you want to see this Tempest shield battery stuff instead of this? Like, this is awesome. 15 minutes in, it's 111 supply against 129. And it looks very grim for Serral, but the roaches are cheap. And Serral is Serral. Tiny Veiling run by indeed blew up a couple of workers as well. But Astrea is excellent in rebuilding workers. And that's something we have often complimented him on in the past. And it doesn't matter if he's playing 2v2, 3v3, a free-for-all, or 1v1. That man can lose 50 workers and still have a good work account. I would really love Astrea to just put something in that wall, by the way. Couple Zerglings with, of course, its Reynor glands and I believe +2 melee. Get on top of workers at the bottom. No cancel on that Nexus in the center. So that is 9 workers and a Nexus. And look at Serral's supply. It has exploded. What the fuck? He's been on 59 drones forever. I did say roaches are cheap. Did I think they were that cheap? No, I did not. What the hell? How the hell does Serral have 190 supply? Oh my god. Yona. Is it Black Friday, guys? Do you get a bonus roach for every 2 roaches you order? What is happening over here? Does Serral get discount? Is that why he wins every tournament? It's ridiculous. Now, there are still storms. The quality of army is obviously a lot better on this side of Astrea. The Immortal count is healthy. He's got storm. He's getting more Immortals. But eventually, it is just a numbers game. It is 138 supply of relatively basic Zerg units against 78 supply of high-tech Protoss arsenal. The Vipers are on the way. I think what Serral is hoping for is maybe just to abduct... Maybe abduct the Immortals here, right? I think that's probably the biggest target. Because then the Roaches... Roaches are good against Archons if the numbers are right. Roaches are good against Colossus. It's the Immortals that are scary. Or maybe just a Blinding Cloud or something, I don't know. Serral probably does need to go. Because I think if he stays on this army... Astrea's army is only going to get bigger. Maybe Astrea is going to give Serral the fight. I'm surprised that Astrea is the one who's moving out as he's nowhere near maxed out. There are still Zerglings active, and I think they got another cancel on the Nexus, or at least picked off a worker. War Prism leading the charge with a single High Templar. Landed a feedback, but there's still one Viper left with energy. I think on creep, I cannot believe Zerglings going to town on the workers in the bottom side of the map. Astrea was already kind of committed, is going to be even more committed now as he drops to 44 workers. This is a sick game. 98 army supply of Protoss right now. Mostly high-tech. Couple Zealots in the mix, but... Comes down to the Banelings and the Storms. One High Templar gets picked up immediately. Serral comes in from two different angles. The Storms are monstrous. The Banelings are trying to connect with everything they can find. The Archons are, honestly, running away very far to the back. And that kind of left the Immortals exposed. It's the power of the Roach. It's the power of the Ravager. And Serral says some streaks may come to an end. But this one, not yet. What a game. What a game. I can't believe he won that. Freaking Yona. What a game. I cannot believe he won that. Serral special. Great game. Really, really fun stuff coming out of both of them. Well played by Astrea. Great performance by Serral. Just made the game scrappy and hectic and crazy enough. And it really all started with that run by. Without that run by, no way, Jose. It looked like it was not going anywhere, but